Well, looks like Borna is off at the end of the season. There will be no new contract. There will be no new deal. He is heading off to the to Turkish football, which seems a regular path, doesn't it, for Rangers football at the moment? Obviously, Ryan Kent headed out there recently, although his move has been an absolute disaster. So that's the first bit of news. Now we can tell it's the international break. Look, the international break is a very, very dull time. Content creators do find it hard. It's almost like YouTube say, well, you know what, football doesn't matter during the international break. There is obviously internationals coming up. I mean, obviously the most important one being for the home nations, Wales versus Finland, which Glenn Kamara will be playing, and obviously former Rangers player playing for Finland. But there is, you know, it kind of gets like a bit like transfer silly season, doesn't it? A bit like January, summer, whatever. Now, the latest reports coming out of Ibrox are surrounding goalkeeper Jack Butland and a possible move to the Premier League in the summer, and the rumours that, or reports, whatever you want to turn them as, rumours or reports, you decide, that he could be set to move for £15 million in the summer. We're going to talk through that one shortly too. And also Philippe Clement placing a very high demand on his squad. Well, actually, all apart from one player. We'll talk as well about who that one player is who is exempt from Philippe Clement's high demands. Well, let's start with the news about Croatian left-back Borna Barisic. Now, look, I am not disputing the fact that during the season when we won the 55, he was a very, very talented player. And I think, you know, if you'd moved Borna on during that season, you could have got somewhere in the region of 6 to 10 million for him. Easy peasy. Probably 10 million if you're looking at an English Premier League club, because let's face it, you can fleece as much money as you want out of them. But at the end of the day, he really has declined in the last 2 seasons. Now, there are still Borna defenders amongst the fan base. I get stick from them all the time. You know my feelings on Borna. I think he's pish. Let's face it, that time at the piggery that he just sat down and gave up. You know, and there's been other occasions where Borna has been injured and had to go off because things have not been going his way. There was the debacle at Kilmarnock the other week where he was to blame for their goal. He has been absolute crap this season, if we're being wholly honest. He's the one player really who hasn't responded at all to Philippe Clement and has genuinely got worse. But he, you know, I think we've got to obviously thank him for his previous service. Like I said, up until the last couple of seasons, like, I'm not saying that he's always been crap. Last 2 seasons, he has been utter crap and stealing a wage. Previous to that, he was a good player. He was a good player. But like all of us, age catches up on us. We lose things, don't we? Age is a horrible thing. You know, you'll all know out there as you get older, things get taken from you, as Al Pacino once said in Any Given Sunday. You know, and that's when it's only as you get older that you start to learn this, that things get taken from you. Well, according to multiple sources, yes, obviously, as the club have not confirmed this as of yet, or Borna and his agent have not yet confirmed this as of late, but it is being reported in multiple sources all across X, all across the internet, all across everywhere. Yes, it is coming out of Turkey. So, look, there's always that 91% chance that it could be a load of bullshit because we know what Turkish media are like. But this is the story that is currently on the go and looks like it is a done deal. So this is all transfer. This is the one I got the X from the tweet from the whatever the bloody hell it's called these days. It is still, it's called X, I know, but is it called a tweet or is it called an X or is it called a message or is it called, I don't know. Elon Musk, clarify, please. Anyway, Trabzonspor have reached personal terms with 31-year-old Croatia Rangers veteran left-back Borna Barisic. Barisic will join the Turkish giant as a free agent in the summer. It's all agreed. And like I said, it's not just this source here. There are multiple sources reporting that Borna will be going to the Turkish Super League to play for Trabzonspor. I mean, is it closer to Croatia? Closer to Croatia? I don't know. But it certainly seems to be a done deal that he will be gone. And he will be gone in the summer. Look, at the end of the day, it's the right move for Borna. It's the right move for Rangers. You know, the guy has kind of reached the end of his useful purpose here. Ridvan Yilmaz has more than proved that he is the man for the job. The media are continuing to report that Rangers are pushing to get the deal with Hefte done in the summer. The player who is currently on loan in Cyprus couldn't move for a number of reasons. Dual ownership, the Cypriot team refusing to cancel his loan, etc., in the January transfer window. But it does seem that Rangers are continuing to push ahead to get that deal done in the summer. The promising Brazilian left back obviously will be a exceptional candidate and will give us two excellent left backs in Ridvan Yilmaz, who has been outstanding in the second half of the season, and obviously as well Hefte. He's Small, who was also on the targets for Rangers, is also now off the radar completely, as he has agreed to join Feyenoord next season. The Dutch Giants moved to sign the out-of-contract left back. You know, you can't blame Feyenoord, obviously looking to get their way back to challenging for the Dutch title, with PSV dominating there this year. So Small is going to Feyenoord. But it does seem that Rangers are continuing, especially now this news that Borna is off, to push through with the Hefte deal for the summer. Personally, I think that's a good deal. Good news. Hefte is a young player. Again, it does seem that he fits very much that trading model style, fits the type of players that Niels Koppen and Philippe Clement are looking for. Young, hungry, developable, can flip for a big fee in the future, all part of, really developing this squad and moving it forward. I mean, not only is he a left back, he can play left wing back, he can play left wing. He's a very talented player. And, Brazil have certainly turned out some very, very talented fullbacks over the years. Yes, they've turned out some pish, but then again, all countries have turned out some shit over the years, haven't they? So, look, there we go. He's bound to be better than Borna. That's all I'm going to say on that one. So, Borna heads off at the end of the season to the Turkish Super League. Just a shame, obviously, that if, this was a definite that he was going to go, that we couldn't have got a little bit of cash for him in January. That's always a downside, isn't it? So, that's just it, isn't it? That's just it as it is. Oh, well. Okay, so let's move it along a little. Okay, so let's talk now about Jack Butland, our outstanding goalkeeper. Look, Jack is a top player, isn't he? He's a top player. He's been arguably the player of the season, and this season. I mean, obviously John Lundstrom's going to push him close. Of course, he is. John Lundstrom's been absolutely outstanding this season. He's going to be up there in the Player of the Year votes. But Jack Butland has been by far the most outstanding player at the club. Now, like I said to you in the introduction, you can tell it's silly season. You can tell it's, the whole, there's not a lot of news around. So, media outlets are searching for things and sometimes putting 2 and 2 together and getting 6 or 5 or 12 or whatever they get, 22. Who knows what they get, how their little fevered minds work. Now, according to a number of sources in the morning media, it's been reported that Rangers will allow Jack Butland to leave in the summer for the right amount of money. Now, the report, whichever one you want to go with, is that Rangers will demand £15 million minimum to allow Jack to leave. Now, I was thinking about that this morning. I dropped my kids off, dropped my daughter off at school, and I was driving home after dropping her off, because let's face it, when you're driving to school with her and she's chatting away, because we know what daughters are like, they never shut up. But I was back in 15 million. I thought, 15 million doesn't seem like a lot of money, does it? Well, it does to you and me. I know 15 million to me would make you just be like, unbelievable. But 15 million in football terms is pocket change, especially to English Premier League clubs, who have an absolute sea of cash swimming around. I mean, you've just got to look at the revenues. I was looking at I was doing a bit of work, some research for somebody the other day on a different channel, and researching Premier League revenues, and the difference in revenue between the Premier League and the EFL Championship, and the difference in revenue between the EPL and most major leagues across Europe is absolutely astronomical. The TV deals they get, not just from Sky, but from across the world, provide them with limitless amounts of cash. And the new PSR, which is you can spend up to 85% of your revenue, which will obviously hurt Rangers. We'll do a video on that, and we'll talk about that PSR at some point. But big clubs in the Premier League are going to be able to afford to spend vast sums of money, because internal match day revenues, TV revenues, transfer revenues are through the roof for Premier League clubs. So 15 million to them is not a lot of money. But the issue kind of here is with Butland. I know Butland has been absolutely outstanding this season. He has been unbelievable this season. He really has. But the issue, is a lot around snobbery. we saw with the recent England squad announcement where Jack Butland, despite the rumours that he was going to be selected, to come from goalkeeping coach Martin Margetson, was very much around the whole, the fact that he plays in Scotland. Scotland's not seen as a serious league down south. That's hence why Johnston, Ramsdale, and Pickford were selected by by Gareth Southgate. Now, Jack Butland handled the question about, being left out of the England squad exceptionally well. And Jack has spoken about being happy here and wanting to win trophies, and the fact that he's playing every week is all very good. Now, the stories centre around the fact that, number one, if Rangers were to receive a huge bid, like 15 to 20 million for their goalkeeper, it would be money that we could then reinvest in the squad and help to build a substantial squad for the future. Which, as a club that is using the trading model, that's always going to have to be a concern. Now, also, we have Robbie McCrory. Yes, Robbie is not in the same talent bracket as Jack, but is Robbie good enough to perhaps play in the SPFL, and help us to have domestic success? Yes, he probably is. But also, you've got to balance that with the fact that, according to the reports, Jack wants to try his hand again in the Premier League and wants to play for England again. And he feels that the best way for this to happen is for him to play in the Premier League. With Gareth Southgate seemingly only looking at Premier League footballers. I mean, there's even players in Italy, who have gone over to Italy and played in Serie A who are not even being considered, that have been looked down on because they're not playing in the Premier League. So, it does seem very, very much the fact that if you don't play Premier League football, that you are not really in England's thoughts. You are not really, there to be considered. The report very much is around this £15 million figure. Now, some of you may feel that 15 to 20 million is not a great deal for someone like Jack Butland, considering that, Manchester United paid 47 million for Andre Onana, who is an absolute disaster. The other goalkeepers have gone for substantially more. I think Alisson Becker was somewhere in the region of 60, 70 million. These are top keepers. The issue you've got is that playing in Scotland unfortunately, will naturally depress your transfer value. I think if Rangers were playing in the EPL, then you'd find a situation where you could probably get 25 to 30 million for Jack Butland. That's just the way that the English premium works. Now, personally, I wouldn't sell him. Personally, I'd hold on to him for at least another 12 to 18 months, as I think his value will only increase. But does there become a natural ceiling on his value? That's kind of the concern there, that that once he reaches a certain age, I know goalkeepers do go on for naturally longer than outfield players, but playing in Scotland, and look, I'm not trying to disrespect the SPFL here, but the problem is that there is a natural ceiling there because of the league we play in and because of the level of competition within the league we play in. So at the end of the day, if a bid did come in, it may be that the club have no choice but to take that money and run, basically, and then reinvest that 15 to 20 million in 3 to 4 players, for example, which does very much seem to be the areas. Due to the fact that that is the value of players that we're looking at. I don't know, guys. I mean, what's your opinions? Let me know. I mean, I'm kind of stuck in two minds about this. Like I said, I was thinking over this on the drive home after dropping my daughter off this morning at school, and like I said, I was kind of thinking, well, 15 million is not a lot for someone like Jack Butland, but then he does play in Scotland, but then he's done it in Europe, but then he still plays. It's a difficult one to think about. So come on, give me your thoughts, give me your opinions. We will discuss this on the podcast tonight as well. But Jack has been outstanding. Look, if Jack does get moved on and we get a substantial fee for him, yes, I will be absolutely gutted to see him go because he is a phenomenal goalkeeper. But I would wish him all the very, very best for the future. He is just brilliant. And he's done great things already for us. And hopefully, a treble this season will really, give him 3 medals. And if that's what he wins with Rangers, if we get the domestic treble, a lot of it's going to be down to him and his fantastic keeping and his leadership from the back. So look, let me know what you think. Jack Butland, 15, 20 million bid comes in. What do you do? What do you do? Do you take it and use the money to reinvest in the squad? Or do you say no? Or is there naturally a ceiling where he can't go beyond 20 million? Let me know in the comments down below. Anyway, Rangers manager Philippe Clement has placed on his squad a demand. Yes, that is right. He has placed on them a demand. Now, what is this demand I hear you saying? You know, how can he be demanding? Well, he is a very demanding manager. We know that. We definitely know that. Now, apparently, according to reports in a number of media sources again today, Clement has said that only Jack Butland is excused from this current demand, and that is contributing more in front of goal. I think you can probably excuse James Tavernier as well. Obviously, you know, scoring 14, 15 goals from right back is absolutely outstanding. But the rest of the squad do need to chip in with more goals. You know, he did say that he wants to see more out of his team in the final third, which, you know, I 100% agree with. He said it's important to have goal-scoring midfielders, but don't expect Dio to score 30 goals a season. I hope he does, but he has other things to do on the pitch. It is important, of course, the football I want to play. I want danger to come from everywhere, from all positions. Our fullbacks score goals, our centre-backs score goals, our defensive midfielders, the wingers, the strikers, the number 10, everybody. For me, that is the most difficult thing to stop. If the danger only comes from one or two players, then you are easy to stop. I want a team we can use every game to look at where the weak points are of the opponent and where we can exploit them, or you need a different qualities for that. The players have stepped into this story. That's why we do finishing exercises with everybody, not only our attacking players, and they are getting better and better in front of goal all the time. That is the major thing I want to sort. Total football with everyone involved. Only Jack, he is the only one who will not score. So it does seem that, you know, he wants a more clinical approach from the squad in terms of finishing. And look, he's right. He's 100% correct on this. Why? Because if you look at the chance conversion, right, other than that Hearts game when we scored the 5, our chance conversion is not great, is it? We don't put the ball in the back of the net on a regular basis. Well, not enough anyway. We miss an awful lot of chances. And you know, yes, in the SPFL, when you're playing the likes of St Johnstone, Ross County, St Mirren, Dundee, etc., it doesn't on the whole come back to hurt you as much because they're not good enough to exploit those problems. But when you're playing against Celtic, when you're playing against teams from across Europe, not taking your chances hurts you. As we saw the other night, you know, with Cyril Dessers, yet again, when it matters, letting us down against Benfica. The Celtic game at Parkhead, Cyril Dessers, yet again, letting us down when it really matters, not scoring that goal when he wanted 6 million touches when 3 would have done. You know, it is a need to score goals, and we need everybody to chip in. We need midfielders, we need defenders. Everybody needs to put into that. And like Philippe says, if you are concentrating on just one player being this goal scorer, then all the opposition need to do is take him out of the game, and then it kind of nullifies your team if they know that it all goes through that player or that player, and those players don't really get involved with the goal scoring side of the game. So for me, he's absolutely spot on what he says. You know, we do need to be more clinical. The likes of Tom, the likes of Ross McCausland, the likes of Todd Cantwell, the likes of Dujon Sterling, Diamande, John Lundstrom, all need to chip in with extra goals to top up what we're doing this season. If we are going to go on and win the treble, and I think look, there's every chance we do that, but we need to have extra goals from other areas and not rely just on a number 9. Not when you've got Cyril Dessers up there, who is not up to the task. You know, when it matters, he bottles it, he goes missing. Danilo, when he comes back, obviously will be a major asset, but it will take time for him to get match fit. But Philippe Clement is spot on with what he demands and spot on with what he's saying. If you look at the most successful teams around Europe, the Manchester Cities, the Liverpools, the Arsenals, the Real Madrids. I mean, Real Madrid's top scorer is Jude Bellingham, who is not a striker. You look at Liverpool recently, lots of different people contributing to goals. Martin Odegaard of Arsenal and a midfielder contributes regularly with goals. You look at Manchester City, Phil Foden, for example, contributes regularly with goals. Kevin De Bruyne. All these players are extra. Now, I know they're a class above what we've got, but they still are midfielders contributing to goal-scoring opportunities. Rafinha with Barcelona. You know, these are all players who don't play up front. These are wide players, midfield players that are contributing, and that's what we need at Rangers if we're going to go on to be successful. Well, guys, let me know what you think of the stories we've covered in the video today. Thanks ever so much for watching. As always, guys, please smash that sub, ring that notification bell. It helps to keep up to date and never miss out. And on the way out, 2 things. 1, smash the like. It helps the video grow. Likes, smash the algorithm. Likes, spread the video. Smash the like. And remember always, we are the people.